Bridget Hogan is a teacher at a public high school and expressed in her interview her journey from little affiliation with the church to experimenting in other faiths, but eventually living a life of strong faith.
As a member of the church, she teaches confirmation classes and considers herself an active member of the church while emphasizing the importance of her relationship with God, taking a quieter presence in the church rather than being recognized publicly for her generosity.
Bridget Hogan demonstrates how she is a model of the feminine genius through her role as an educator. She teaches English to students in need of an education. She teaches with the spirit of motherhood, which women in the church use to help others feel more fully alive. She wishes for her accomplishments to be recognized and opportunities to be given because of her skill, not because she is a woman. She thinks people should value the individual talents of women rather than the stereotypical views of women and feminine characteristics.
In life today, the true meaning of feminism and the feminine genius can be lost, especially in a world full of philosophical theory. Edith Stein demonstrates what it means to be an authentic feminist by integrating faith, family, and work. She wrote many pieces on women and women's vocations, sharing the struggles which women face in professional work. Edith also advocated strongly for women's rights and stressed the importance of women's education while portraying that as a woman of intellectual and spiritual stature, she is a witness to authentic feminism. She specifically emphasizes that we are promised a life of faith and personal union with the Redeemer through eternal contemplation with God, and that these destinies are identical for both men and women. She also can be recognized as a model of the feminine genius because of her intellectual capacity and work as a teacher, combining professional competence with a dedicated relationship to her students. Finally, through Edith's lectures, which incorporate lessons on women as professionals, church members, homemakers, and mothers, the feminine genius is fully embodied by her. She goes beyond simply philosophy, psychology, and sociology, and shared her wide human experience.
As a Polish Jew, but as she got older, converted to atheism. Edith felt that her inability to pray and connect with the church was the reason she converted. This is similar to when Bridget Hogan felt disconnected and unwelcomed in her campus ministry in college. Bridget had thoughts of converting to Orthodox Judaism, but never followed through on it. Throughout Edith's adulthood, she had been researching and learning more and more about Christianity and Catholicism and the views that surround the religions. In Edith's search for truth, which is later described by Frida Mary Oben, was Edith's prayer in itself, brought to her to the decision of converting to Catholicism. Bridget Hogan had a similar experience when she graduated college and moved to DC. Bridget had made the decision to begin practicing her faith in a very active manner. Both women made the decision to follow God fully and begin living a life in order to please Him. Edith and Bridget also share the same passion of teaching. Edith taught kindergarten and Bridget teaches at Roosevelt High School. Although these two women lived in very different time periods, they had similar stories when it comes to their faith and their occupation.
Interview and research inspired us to become saints because it showed us how fulfilling and rewarding the life of sainthood is. It sounded very appealing when Bridget was talking about a life submerged in the comfort of the church as an alternative to a society focusing on money and power.
Edith also spoke about how when entering into the Order of the Carmelites, she was able to be free and joyous in participation with Christ. Through entering into the Carmelites, she was able to dive into her faith, which led her to become a saint. This appeals to us because we want to be able to feel free and joyous in participation with God, whether we join a convent or not. When on the train on the way to the convent, Edith reflected that even though her life was in a chaotic state, she felt calmed by the thought of being with the divine will of God for the rest of her life. This attracts us because many of our lives are very busy with a combination of family, school, and other activities. So receiving a sense of calmness from being in the everlasting presence of God is appealing.